record button, and welcome to the Make Money Now coaching call. For those of you, if this is your first time on the call, welcome. This call is actually inspired by somebody who's on the call. So Melody's on the call, and Melody is a brand new agent. She just got her license or she just passed her exam last week. And as I was thinking about Melody and think about others that I know that are in the process of getting their license, I've got a couple of new agents coming on board next week, is what do I do day one? So like, okay, it's day one. It's my first Monday as a real estate agent. And I still have to get signed up with the company, and I still have to get signed up with the MLS, and I've got to wait for TREC to get my license, or all these other crazy things. And I wanted to just skip through all of that and say, yes, those are all things that we need to get done, and all of these really important things that we need to learn, and how to use the MLS, and how to do this and how to do that. And I wanted to just cut through all of that and get to what I believe is at the heart of our ability to be successful in real estate. And that is not doing the real estate business, but getting the real estate business. And I'm going to go ahead and start powering through. So, whoops. That was funny. I just totally lost there we go. And I want to just so there's a little bit of background of my experience. So I know what it's like to be a new agent. When I was a new agent in Florida, 2005, 2006, I was the #1 new agent in the state of Florida. I still hold the record for the most successful new agent nationally, as far as I know. So I sold over $120 million in my first year. I listed 120 properties that year. I am a national trainer and coach. I've owned 3 different brokerages and led at an executive level 3 other brokerages and a brand. I've worked with every major brand. I'm the former chief operating officer of The Real Recruiter and Cheplack Solutions. If you do not follow John Cheplack, Cheplak, he is one of the thought leaders in real estate and in motivational speaking. If you haven't read his book, Interrupt the Pattern, you definitely should. But he's very easy to find on social media, and he's very active there. And I'm also a former Tom Ferry coach, another person who you should follow and should be getting edified by. So here is the bottom line. So the bottom line, if you do everything else bad and you do this well, you will be successful. We need to have 8 to 10 real estate conversations every day. Every day. So everybody that tells you when you're getting into real estate, they tell you to go and make your list of people. And I want to tell you to don't do that. Don't make a list yet. I want you to start with your script, because here's what we do. We make a list, and then we get taught a script, and then it's like, oh, I can't say that to this person. Or I don't feel comfortable talking to that person about this. So here's what I want to do. We're going to flip this around, and we're going to start with the script, not your list. And here is the scripting that I want us to really get ingrained into our brain. And this is something that we're doing on the phone. This is something that we're doing live. This is something that we're doing by text message. But ultimately, our introduction with every single person that we're interacting with is, hi, it's Chris. I wasn't sure if you knew it, but I've changed careers. I'm a real estate agent now. And we need to shift that paradigm that we have with these people that know us and that love us from, Chris, the businessman, Chris, the entrepreneur, Chris, the teacher, to Chris, the real estate agent. So if everyone that knows you doesn't know you as Melody, the real estate agent, that is what you're beginning to change. You're shifting the script from, Melody, the person that you know from Bungo, or to the person that you know as a real estate professional. So, hi Bob, it's Chris Weaver. I wasn't sure if you knew it, but I've changed careers. I am your real estate agent now. Our job as real estate agents is to demonstrate and train people to send us business. And right after that introduction, in an interaction that we're having with someone, that next part is to let them know that we are doing something different from everyone else, and that we're committed to being at the top of our game. And this is a great question to throw out right after the intros. Did you know that all of the top real estate agents have a business plan and a coach? It sets up this next dialogue that we're going to have. My coach is having me ask everyone I know a very simple question. Bob, are you currently living in your dream home? So I want us to get comfortable with the script, and then we can decide on who we're going to call with the script, as opposed to saying, these are the people that we're going to call and trying to match a script to each one of them. So this scripting, Bob, are you currently living in your dream home, separates the people that you're interacting with into two different categories. And let me just turn off the notifications on my phone, or it'll start just, boom. So, is going to allow you to separate people into two different categories. Category number one is people who are living in their dream home, and category two is people who are not living in their dream home. And we've got a different objective with each of those two people. So the purpose of every single phone call that we're making, the purpose of every single one of these 8 to 10 real estate conversations that we're having, is to lead us to get either a phone number or a meeting. That is how we judge the success of our interactions. Did I get a number or did I get a meeting? So let's talk about the yeses. So, Chris, are you living in your dream home? Yes, I am. Wow. That's amazing. Isn't that the greatest feeling ever? Wouldn't you want that for everyone you know? Can you think of anyone you know who I might be able to reach out to that isn't currently living in their dream home? Get a number. So if they hesitate, if they don't say anything, say, hey, you know what? Let's make this easy. Do you know of anybody who's currently renting that might want to be a homeowner one day that I could talk to and help? See, because when we're new in the business, sometimes people are afraid to just give us business because we haven't proved ourselves and demonstrated our relevance and our competence over time. So asking them for, hey, do you have a misfit screw-up nephew that I could talk to and help? Do you have someone who's living in a boarding house in a flop house? Do you have any homeless friends or family that I might be able to help? I can get them off the street, whatever. Use some humor, use some joking around about it. But ultimately, we want to get a phone number from that person, of somebody that we can reach out to and say, hey, I was just talking to Bob. Bob thought I might be able to help you. So that is that next interaction. We're going to talk about that next week. But right now, I want to get a phone number from Bob if he says he's living in his dream home. So if he says he's not living in his dream home, then this is exactly what I want you to say verbatim. We need to get together to talk about my dream home program. This week is slammed for me. Do you have time to grab a coffee next week? So, and Melody and I talked about this last week when she came to the mastermind, is one of the things that's extremely important in being successful in real estate is doing step one without necessarily knowing how to do step two. So getting into the habit of doing that is very important in your real estate career. So here's what I'm going to tell you is next Monday, we're going to talk about that dream home program on this coaching call. So this week, all we're doing is talking to people and talking to them about sitting down and talking to us about our dream home program. So we don't need to get into the weeds. We don't need to get into details of what that dream home program is. What we want to do this week is we want to set as many appointments as we possibly can of people that we can sit down and talk to next week about our dream home program. So here's what I want you to do. When we get off this call, I want you to go back, and I'll post the recording. Melodies, just so that you know, when you get off this call, come back to this call, because right after this, we've got our talent attraction call. And that'll be important. So once you get off those two calls, this is what I want you to do. I want you to role play this scripting with your 5 best friends. So ultimately, what I want you to do is I want you to practice this 5 times. I suggest doing it with your 5 best friends because they are ultimately the first 5 people you would want to call to get help from in your real estate business, right? So if you call them and say, hey, I was just on a coaching call. My coach wants me to have these conversations with people, but he wants me to role play it. Could you practice with me, please? And if they are your best friends, they're going to want to help you out. So practice this with your 5 best friends. If you have no friends, text me and we can practice it together. But what I want you to do is I want you to role play this 5 times before you go to that next step. And that next step is this. I want you to take out your phone and I want you to take a pad of blank paper. And I want you to start with A's in your address book in your phone. And what I want you to do is I want you to write down the names of 5 people as you're going through your A's that you believe are not living in their dream home. So I don't want you to think about, are they renting or do they own? Doesn't matter. Are they, here locally or are they far away? Doesn't matter. Are they, do they have no credit and there's no way they could ever buy a home? Doesn't matter. So ultimately what you want to do is have the first 5 people on your list be 5 people that you know, that you believe are not living in their dream home. And on your pad, I want you to make 4 columns. So you got a blank piece of paper, and this is what it's going to look like. It's going to have a name, and then you're going to column, number. So you write their phone number down, right? Because you got your phone in front of you, and you're starting with your A's. So if first person here is Adam, you write Adam, and you write Adam's phone number down, right? Then another line, results. So when you call him, what's the result? And what's next? So if I call Bob, I put Bob down as my first person, write down Bob's phone number. I call Bob and I get Bob's voicemail. So I don't leave a message. The result is I just write in voicemail. And next, okay, I want to put text. Just write text in the next, okay? And go to your next person and write their name down. This is Charles. Charles, phone number, 55512. Write it down. Call him. What's the result? I messed it all up, and I told him I'd call him back later once I knew what I was doing. Excellent. Write that in. Next, call back next week. Down to the next person. Name. So you want to do this with 5 people on your list, okay? And make those phone calls to those 5 people. And again, this is after you've role played and after you have a little bit of confidence in where you're going with the script. And you're really trying to find people who you have a connection with, but are not living in their dream home. Okay. The people that you don't get a hold of, I want you to send them this text message. Don't leave them in the voicemail. I want you to send them this text message. Hi, Bob. It's Chris. I'm asking everyone I know this question. If you could trade where you live for your dream home, would you? Okay? These are the people that you called and you didn't get a hold of. And because we still have our phones out, I want you to send this text message to an additional 5 people. So we've got our first 5 that we called. We don't get a hold of them. We text them this. And then I want you to pick 5 more people that you're going to send this text message to. Okay? Now, next, I want you to go to Facebook. Facebook is your friend. If you have a Facebook aversion, text me or call me afterwards and I'll talk you out of your Facebook aversion. What I want you to do is I want you to find a picture. I want you to find a person in Facebook that you're friends with. And I want you to go on the internet and I want you to find the picture of a house that you think they would love. And I want you to send them in Facebook a picture of this house and ask them, hey, if you could trade your home for this one, would you? Now, here's one of the things that just to think about this is you don't want to send them a house of the Getty Mansion in Malibu. Because yes, all of us would trade our house for the Getty Mansion in Malibu. You know, we're not going to go and find Necker Island, Richard Branson's, you know, estate, you know, in you know, his private island in the Bahamas, right? Because everybody, yes, I would trade, you know, everything and probably my right arm for Necker Island, right? But so that, it's not that. I want you to think about where this person lives right now and where you could possibly see them going next, and send them that picture. Because the whole point of this is to have our 8 to 10 conversations a day, right? So you send them that picture and you ask them this question. 5 people, just 5 people. Next, I want you to open up your email. And I want you to send 1 email to 10 people. Here's how you're going to do it. You're not going to BCC people. You're going to go onto the MLS, or if you're already up on KV Core, on KV Core, or if you have no access to any of these things, like Melody, you know, brand new, probably doesn't have KV Core access to the MLS, yes, go to Zillow. I actually said that bad word, the Z word. So go to Zillow, go to Realtor.com, go wherever you would go if you were looking for houses. And I want you to look for a house that you think is cool and that you think would be cool for that person that you're finding in your address book in your mail. And what I want you to do is I want you to send the same email to 10 people. And the email is a link to the listing. And I was just looking at homes online. I love this house. If you could trade your home for this one, would you? And send it. Now, here's what's going to happen is the 5 people that you call, you are probably going to get a hold of 1 or 2 of them. And then you're going to send them this text message, right? So the next thing, we need 8 to 10 conversations. The next, you're going to text 5 people, and you're probably going to get an immediate response from 2 or 3 of them. And if you get a response, text them back or call them and go back to that original scripting, because ultimately what we want to do is we want to set up an appointment with them, if they're not living in their dream home, to sit down and have coffee with us sometime next week. Not this week, because we're not ready for that conversation yet, right? So next week. And next Monday, we're going to talk about what is that dream home meeting? How do we get people into our dream home program? And it's very simple. It's very easy. Anyone can implement it, from a brand new agent to a very experienced agent, right? So then we have our Facebook inbox messages. And then we have our emails. So I want you to then, after you've done all this, go back to your list. And I want you to add the people that you texted. And here's what I want you to do. I'm going to go back and I'm going to show you this. So let's say, hypothetically speaking, and I think I've got a pointer. I can go pen. So here I've got name, and here I'm going to write Craig. And Craig's number is 1, because he's so old that he's got the very first phone number ever, 1. So Craig, number 1, result, no answer. And next, text, right? Because we said we were going to text people that we didn't get a hold of, right? And then I go to my next person. So once I've got my 5 people here, then next I'm going to go here and I'm going to go T, Bob. And I'm going to put my number. I'm going to text Bob, and I don't need to put a result, or I don't need to put a next over here until they respond. So if T Bob is, the result is none, right? So we wait a day and so look at it tomorrow. Nope, he didn't respond back. What's my next interaction with Bob is call. So he's going to be on your list of people to call next week because he didn't respond to your text message, right? So now we've got our people that we're inboxing. So I'm going to do an I, and I'm going to put Juan. So I'm going to send Juan an inbox message. And I'm going to write Juan's number here because I'm pulling people out of my phone book. I'm going to go results, none. So my next is I'm going to call him next week, right? So we're building our call list for next week based upon the people that aren't responding to us through this other way. And we're building this piece of paper that we're building, this pad, is at the end of day one, how many people are you going to have here on your pad? Well, you got your first 5 people that you're calling, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Then you got your 5 texts. Then you've got your 5 inbox messages. And then you've got your 10 emails. This is 25 people. So this is us interacting with 25 people. So from trying to interact with 25 people, we're going to have our 10 conversations. This is going to take a few hours your first day. And here's what I would tell you. There is absolutely nothing on your agenda that is more important than this. So I'm going to ask those of you that want to do this, those of you that are looking to reset your real estate business, or those of you who are sick and tired of ending Fridays saying next Monday it's going to be different. If you're tired of that, then make these commitments with me and do these things today. So, all right, so I went the wrong way. There we go. So today's action commitments. First one is do the role play. Role play this 5 times. Role play it 5 times. If you try and role play with a friend and you can't reach anybody, reach out to the person that invited you to this phone call. Role play it with them. Reach out to me. Craig's on the call. Reach out to Craig. Craig will role play with you. I know he will. Reach out to Juan. Juan will role play. Reach out to Rosie. Rosie will role play with you. Role play with one of us. Role play with Bruce. Role play it 5 times so it begins to become your language. It begins to become comfortable. Make those 5 calls. Call those 5 people. Call the 5 easiest people there are to call, right? Don't start with the hard ones. Start with the easy ones. Call those 5 people. Then send your 5 text messages. Then send 5 social media messages. I'm not asking anybody if they want to sell their house. I'm not asking anybody if they want to buy a house. I'm just asking them, if you could trade your house for this, would you? Are you living in your dream house? It's a very simple conversation. Whoops, there we go. So send your 1 email. And then when you're done, text me. So here's my commitment to you. Next week, I'm going to do the training in the coaching call on that Dream Home program and what that meeting looks like and what the follow-up looks like with them and how we're going to turn those people into people that give us business and people that we're doing business with. But I'll tell you this, if you do this today and you text me when you're done or when you're stuck, if you get stuck, text me. I'll reach right back out to you and I'll help us get unstuck so we can get through it.
Hey, Chris.
Yes.
This is Juan.
Hey, Juan.
So I just wanted to bring something up that you have brought up many, many times.
Okay.
You've offered accountability, and because this is a group setting, so I just want to let everyone know that you've brought this up with me many times. You're like, and I offered accountability, and no one took me up on it.
Yes.
Right? We've had these meetings afterwards, and you're like, wow, considering how important accountability is to getting shit done,
yes.
And then people don't take you up on it. It was just amazing. It's mind-blowing. So I guess I'm just saying, everybody that's out there, take them up on it.
And here's the other thing is, before I said text me when you're done, and that's one of the reasons why I put in the when stuck there. So if you get off this call and you're stuck at step 1, role playing it, reach out to me. And here's my commitment to every single person that's on this call, every single person that watches this video. If you do this, I will reach back out and I will help you take these calls and these things to that next step tomorrow. Okay? So if you do this and you text me today, you're going on my list tomorrow of people that I'm going to reach out to help go to that next step. Okay? If you get stuck, reach out. Reach out to me, Juan, Craig. Reach out to one of us. When you get done, reach out, and then tomorrow we'll set up a time, and tomorrow we will get together virtually or it'll be virtually here in Zoom and talk about taking this to the next step. So if you're new in the business, if this is a day that you want to reset your business, start here. And I know that we've got all these other things that are important, and all these things that end up being time sucks for us. And well, I really need to get set up with, I need to get set up with this, or I need to get set up with that. Yes, you do. That's all very important things, but do this first and then do that. Because ultimately, and I'll just, and Melody, I'll use you as an example. So I know Melody just got her license last week. She has to call Trek today, find out if her license, get signed up with us and get signed up with the MLS and all that stuff. And all of those things are important, and you need to get that done. But if you get that done and you don't get this done, and that continues, you're probably not going to be in business in 3 to 6 months anyway, right? Because this is what is going to keep you in business, the activity, the interaction with people. If you ask anybody that's been in the business for more than a couple of years, and there's probably 5 of us on this call right now, every single one of us will tell you the same thing. Learn how to get business before you try to worry about learning how to do business. So it is 10:27. I'm going to check the comments that I got in here, the chat, because there we go. Yeah, anyone over 30 living with their parents. Yeah, call the parents. They're great. So if you've got somebody that that has a child living with them, call them and say, hey, I want to help your kid get out of your basement, right? Because if nothing else, you're practicing on them. It's great. So, all right. So I'm going to go ahead and shut the PowerPoint down, shut the recording down. For those of you that are with EXP, we're going to take like a 5-minute break. Click the same link again. We're going to get back together. I'm going to start that a little bit earlier. I'm going to start that at like 10:40 exactly. So come on back by 10:40. We've got some really interesting things to talk about when it comes to talent attraction and revenue share and those things. If you're not a part of EXP, you're interested in what we do at EXP, you can actually come into the temple without wearing the special underwear by coming to the talent attraction coaching call. For my Mormon friends who got that joke, I'm sorry if I offended you. Come on back, 10 minutes. It's the same link. I'm going to end this recording now, and text me when you're done or get stuck. And have a great rest of your day, everyone. Most of you I'll see very soon.